cool. I think we are good to go. All righty. Good. Well, it's probably good afternoon over there for you. It's still morning.
Mhm.
It's 9 a.m. in LA right now.
Yep.
Good day. Good day.
Good day.
What a beautiful day for a gym talk for Brown Girls Do Gymnastics. Today, my name is JaNay. I am your host, and we're just going to talk all things being a brown girl in the sport. My beautiful guest today is Morgan Byrd. She's a physical therapist, former gymnast, and we're just going to have a cute little discussion. So it's going to be exciting.
Love it.
First, I kind of want you to introduce yourself.
Mhm.
Like what you do now, but also how you got into the sport, your journey, and then we will go from there.
Awesome. Easy enough. Well, like JaNay said, I'm Morgan. I'm a physical therapist. I've been practicing for about 3 years now, um, currently in Richmond, Virginia. But the reason why I got into physical therapy has a lot to do with gymnastics. So, like most of us, we start at a young age. So, I started at Marvatines when I was about 4 years old. I was just extremely, extremely hyper. My parents didn't know what to do with me. So, they put me in gymnastics, typical story. And from there, it's history. So, went to Marvatines and then kind of trickled through different gyms with my head coach. And then I landed at Central Michigan, where I competed D1 for the first year for my freshman year. Um, but unfortunately, some things unfolded, and I transferred to James Madison, which is where I competed club gymnastics, which was amazing. Exactly what I thought collegiate gymnastics would be like. So it was great, and from there, I knew that I wanted to help gymnasts, especially, but athletes and just making people feel better. So that's why I got into the field of physical therapy, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love it.
Can you talk about more with James Madison and
Hmm.
what that experience was? Because club gymnastics isn't much of a thing on the West Side. And I want you to talk about your experience, versus D1 and James Madison,
Hmm.
because I think just in general, our sport needs more opportunities for girls, or gymnasts in general, out of high school. And I think that's a
Hmm.
really cool thing, and I want you to just touch a little bit more on that because I know that's so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I definitely see it as a blessing in the fact that I'm able to talk to either young girls about gymnastics or, I mean, just any athlete going into college and kind of being unsure if they want to do D1, D2, D3, or if they just want to kind of have it in the intramural or club aspect. I guess the biggest thing that I try to push is like you're a student first. Your body matters most, and you want to pick the school if that sport wasn't there. So I wish someone had told me that.
Yeah.
But competing in the club level, it's completely different than competing D1 because, for one, a lot of clubs don't have coaches. So we're
Mm.
purely motivated by our own will to do the sport and to be good at it, or just to chill and not do anything in practice. So it varies on like so many different levels.
Wait, that's so interesting. You said you
Mhm.
don't have coaches, so there's no supervision or just nobody really.
No supervision
Oh.
whatsoever. And that was new to me because, coming up in club, like we did exactly what our coaches said. They had a plan for us. And going into collegiate world, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you either work on two events that day or one event or really whatever you're competing. So going from all of that structure to no structure at all, that was basically a test of willpower, determination, and like what do I want to bring from this team, out of this experience and for my teammates. So that was a huge deal for me because I never experienced that. And I had some other girls on my team who one was elite. She was going to the Olympics, or she was going to try to compete for the Olympics, but then she had an injury that set her back. I had level 10s on my team. I had level 4s, excels. Like it was a melting pot of like literally everybody. I had people who never did gymnastics in their life. So we were helping them learn how to do a forward roll, like things like that. So it was truly a
Oh.
team mentality.
That's really amazing too, because it seems that the culture was really supportive. I'm
Hmm.
someone that needs structure and guidance, so I don't know if
Oh, absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
thought of a coach not being there, I
Yeah.
was the gymnast that needed someone not only to watch,
Hmm.
but just to know I was safe. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I
Yes.
would always ask a teammate, even if it was a skill that I knew that I did, but that carried with me all till
Growing up.
college, especially because I started developing, mental blocks even in college. And
Yeah.
I would say, hey, can you watch me? Just so
Yeah.
eyes were on me, just so I knew I'd be safe,
Oh,
just
for
that extra
sure.
security blanket. But when you
Oh my
said,
God.
oh no, there are no
Yeah.
coaches, I was like, oh,
No,
okay.
no coaches, no coaches. And then when it comes to like the mental block, what you're saying, oh my God, I've had so many mental blocks like
Oh,
my whole life. Like
bane of my
I level 8, I landed on my head doing double backs, couldn't flip backwards anymore except for beam. So I had to do all front tumbling, like double fronts, double twist, 1.5s, like you name it, I did it. If it
yeah.
wasn't backwards. So
That reminds me, that's like Brooklyn Moore. She's at
yes,
UCLA right now, and she only does front skills, and it's
love it.
so very cool.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
always see a mixture of both, but even just watching her on beam, she only does front things,
Only front.
and
Yeah.
it's beautiful to watch. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really cool that you could have mental blocks, because I actually don't know her story and why she only does front things,
Yeah.
but bringing to the assumption maybe she just doesn't like going back. There's a fear there, but you can still
Mm-hmm.
make the sport work for you
Yeah.
because there's another
Absolutely.
option. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So I guess I usually wait till later to ask, but
Yeah.
we're already into mental blocks, and what would you
Oh yeah.
say?
Right off the bat.
Because we're trying something new, and I like how this conversation's going. But when it
Mhm.
comes to mental blocks, because I think, I gave a young gymnast, I sent her a video because her mom, braids my hair and
Mm.
having fears on certain events, and I always like to pass down knowledge. What would you say is a advice or encouragement you could give to a young gymnast or anybody that is struggling with the mental block or fear? Because I think it helps
Mm.
to know that they're not alone.
Oh yeah.
You go through that, you think it's only you, but everyone goes through it. I mean, we saw Simone Biles; she got the twisties at the Olympics,
Oh,
and absolutely not the
oh,
the skills that girl does. You can't get the twisties.
wide range.
No,
Wide
yeah, it's
crazy. She's
that.
like, oh, okay, I don't have to twist. I can do something else.
Exactly, yeah, so I think that showed a lot of gymnasts, even the best gymnasts in the world,
Mm.
has fears, and it's a we I don't know how I was watching videos the other day, and I was like, "I don't know how I did this sport. How did I do this sport?" Just
Oh
we
man.
amazing beyond
Yeah,
belief just to even
we truly are.
just to even want to do the sport. But
Oh
yes,
my.
what
Yeah.
from your experience, what advice would you give someone dealing with mental blocks? Because like you mentioned, there's a wide range.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think in PT school or in physical therapy, we always say the phrase is "it depends,"
Mm,
and that's such a strong phrase when it comes to athletes, especially gymnasts, since we're talking specifically about gymnasts. It really depends on the athlete. When I used to coach, a lot of my girls would, get mental blocks. And for me, what worked the most was threatening me. So if I didn't do this, I had to do 100 pull ups. If I didn't do this, I had 5 rope climbs. So
uh,
having that aspect work for me, sometimes I had my girls, I'm like, okay, well, if this doesn't work, I mean, if you're not going to try to do it, well, first, let me back up. We try to break down, first of all, what was causing the mental block, trying to find the core reason as to why you were afraid and why you felt like your body was kind of failing you in a sense.
yeah,
Because it's the body, it's a disconnect with the body and the mind. It's like
exactly.
your mind is telling you one thing, your body's like, nope, we're not doing anything. Like we're gonna stay here. So it's finding that core in, what's going on at the root.
Mm,
And then once you find that, it's almost like taking a step back and breaking it down to the basics. And maybe it's not doing that skill that day. Maybe it's not doing that skill that week. Maybe it's doing the skill the next week when they have time, when they feel like there's no pressure placed on them to do it. um, I think that's when there's that breakthrough.
mhm,
But I know for me, the way that I pushed through some mental blocks was putting more pressure on me,
ooh,
trying to fight through it rather than take time off because I'm an overthinker. I get
oh,
in my head. For sure. So if I didn't do it that practice, it wasn't going to be done at the next meet, or it wasn't going to be done for months. So I had to put every single, like I would do, like I told you, whether it was conditioning, whether it was my teammates doing extra routine, I needed that pressure so I didn't feel like I was feeling them. But I think for a lot of gymnasts that I coached, it's really taking a step back, because I think this, like the generation that I've been coaching, is very different from how we grew up in gymnastics, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I think it's also I like getting different perspectives because everyone is different.
Yeah.
I had teammates that needed the extra pressure. I was someone that needed to take a step back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I always like to open up the conversation because the same thing won't work for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are gymnasts that need that extra pressure, that need to put pressure on themselves when
Yeah.
others are like, no, I'm adding too much pressure myself. Let's take a step
Mm-hmm.
back. So when you
Yes.
mentioned, I know I need to put more pressure on myself. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's interesting because I haven't heard that perspective in a minute. It's been a very long time, but it's true though,
Yeah.
because everyone
Mm-hmm.
is wired differently, and
Mm-hmm.
especially as a coach, because I believe you coached at Dominique Dawes gym for a minute as well, right?
Yeah, coached there and then coached some competitive. So a
Hmm.
little bit of track, a little bit of competitive. So
Yeah.
that's like, the mixture of everything.
Dabbled.
A little
Yeah.
bit of everything.
So I think even as a coach, you need to understand that you're gonna get different
Mm-hmm.
types of, athletes on the daily, and even,
Yep.
in college gymnastics, you're not gonna have the same exact team every year.
Mm-hmm.
Senior class leaves, a new bunch of freshmen come in,
Yeah.
and it and I think about that too. That would stress me out. I don't know. Again, I need consistency. So and I'm not
Yeah.
someone that, wanted to coach, like, I think,
Yeah.
I wanted to go a different route,
Mm-hmm.
choreographing and doing dance
Yep.
things is more my alley when it comes to teaching young
Mm-hmm.
girls, and I teach confidence through that, but actively coaching just isn't my
Right.
thing. But
Mm-hmm.
even just, I have, like Jordan Weber, I have,
Yeah.
mutuals that are coaches and they love it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how do you do it? Because
It's
it's
a lot.
different every single year, like, and you have to figure out how to navigate,
Mm-hmm.
you know leading a successful team, because you have to figure out, okay, when this girl gets a mental block, how does she best work, what best motivates her, and at
Mm-hmm.
UCLA we had to take personality tests, and I think that was really
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
because
Yes.
that's the best way to, learn what type of person you're getting, and, like,
Mm-hmm.
what are their fears? What do they strive for? You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
I learned more about myself taking this test too. We took
Right.
a program.
It's very
So,
insightful.
and it's super insightful, and you realize, your tendencies, what do you get like when you're stressed? What do you like
Mm-hmm.
when you're, super confident and at your best? And I think that's really cool to learn, like, how, the UCLA coaches at the time when,
Mm-hmm.
Val was still there,
Yeah.
how they, wanted to learn about their athletes, because it's true. It's just
Mm-hmm.
everyone works differently. So it's
Yeah.
interesting, one girl needs to be yelled at because she needs that extra
Yeah.
push. And then me,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to take me to the side and, like, calm
Yep.
me down because I'm crying, So it's
Yeah.
a wide range.
Oh yeah.
So,
Right.
no, so I'm really happy that, because, and I think it's cool too, because you don't hear the everyday, no, just take a step back, da 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 da.
Yeah.
You were someone that's like, no, I needed extra pressure. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's giving yourself the ultimatum of, do you do it or you do rope climbs?
Right.
I rope climbs were my thing. I didn't like doing
Oof.
them, but I always had
No.
to do three at the end of every practice, which is
Yes.
why
Oh,
my
oh
traps.
man, these traps forever. This is life up here.
Oh my gosh,
Achilles
I work
heel.
so hard to get them calmed down. I don't work on my arms at all.
Me
I
either.
think they'll just stay toned forever.
Oh, of
I'm
course. You've
convinced,
earned that.
right?
And you will have like 10,000 compliments about your arms, and you're like, I don't do anything. This is just how they are now. This is
Oh
it.
goodness, the life of a gymnast, I swear. I was the short and stocky, I think a lot of us can relate to that
Mm.
one.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thick thighs save lives.
Right.
For sure.
That part, I'm glad you said it, because I was like, you know what? I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
phrase, but I like the phrase.
Oh,
I say that
I
to
will
myself
say it.
all the time. Thick thighs
Yes.
save lives. Alrighty,
Oh, yeah.
let's transition into HBCU campaign, and it's cool because Fisk University just opened, or not opened, but
Yeah.
is bringing on a gymnastics program, which is a step in the right
Mhm.
direction. So very exciting, and
Oh my goodness.
um,
Yeah.
I just think, we specifically as brown girls in the sport have a different experience in the sport. It's a
Oh,
not only we all know it's a subjective sport, but it's an expensive sport, and there's just different things that we experience, from the outside looking in, and whenever we're traveling and stuff like that. So I wanted to, ask you your thoughts on the campaign, but also just how exciting it is for Fisk University to be the first one to hop on board, and hopefully it could get the ball rolling, because there's something about HBCUs and just
oh my goodness. The
I
culture.
the culture and the energy, the support system, and just even thinking about having a gymnastics program there, but just because you think about the football games and the yard shows
Oh yeah.
and the majorettes, and it's just
Mhm.
such a cool thing to experience, and I think everybody should experience it.
Oh yeah.
But just the idea of bringing our sport and again opening more opportunities for gymnasts to experience a
Mhm.
sport that they love and continue to get an education or whatever they want to do is really, really cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm beyond excited. Like when Darian sent the link, and then when I saw it on the Brown Girls Do Gymnastics page, and then I was like, this can't be real. So then I went over to Fisk's Instagram and I was like,
Listen, wait a minute.
I called everybody. Like my family has a group chat, and I put it in there, and I'm like, guys, this is happening. And my mom was like, well, are you going to move to Tennessee now? I was like, maybe. I
You're
might.
like,
I
I
gotta go.
move. It must be the move.
Yeah, it has to happen. So I am beyond excited, and I'm so excited for the girls coming up. Whether uh, when the program starts, when it starts to take off the ground, I'm excited for the high schoolers, the middle schoolers, the element, like just all of the young girls coming up, and that being an option. Because I remember when I was younger, our options were not limited, but we went to school, we did gymnastics to either go to the Olympics if you were good enough, or to go to college, to do it in college. And the only options were PWIs. And sorry, I guess, should I explain what that
Yeah, I was gonna
acronym?
ask you to
Okay.
explain it. So you're already on. Just
So
in case for
predominantly
someone who
white
doesn't know what
institutes.
a PWI is.
Right. Predominantly white institutes is what it is. So any non HBCU college
Mhm.
basically. And so those were really the only schools that we had. And my whole family went to, or at least my grandma, my aunts, my uncles, my mom, and my brothers went to HBCUs. And there is a part of me that feels a little left out, from not being able to experience that. Of course, I've gone to like homecomings and done all of that, which has been absolutely incredible.
God.
Um, and so just having that experience and just thinking about how much pride the students and the teachers and the alumni have for their schools, but then adding another sport that could bring so much more to that. Oh my gosh, it's mind boggling. Like it's beyond my own belief, because I know that they will stand right behind them. And like the culture at Auburn and at LSU and at UCLA, like it's going to be that, but I feel like 10 times more.
Yeah.
So I am super excited. It's the sky's the limit, and once that takes off, and once the other HBCUs see how well that's going to do, I give it maybe a few years.
Yeah.
So
That's the timeline I told myself too. And like you mentioned, the sky's the limit. And
mhm.
you, a point that you brought up that made me think about it was, when I started competing at UCLA, and, the friends that I made outside of the athletic community had
Mhm.
never seen or known a gymnast in their life. Our sport isn't as it's popular in the Olympics, but I feel that they only watch
Mhm.
our sport in the Olympics, until, because I even talked to someone recently, and they didn't really know that gymnastics was in college, and they started, following
Oh
college
wow.
teams. Um, so it's really cool to, open up and, showcase our sport to people who have, never been
Mhm.
exposed to it in a way outside of the Olympics. They've never known a gymnast. Because,
Oh yeah.
my gym, there's gyms all over, club gyms all over, but it
Mhm.
didn't really hit me until I got to college, and there are just a lot of people who have never been to a gymnastics meet, they never known a
Oh yeah.
gymnast, and
They don't
just
know.
seeing their reactions in real time as we were competing and doing
Uh-huh.
the things that we do, and I think it gives us um, the credit that we deserve
Oh,
because
absolutely.
we are we come at different levels, but it's amazing on every single level.
Hmm.
It really opened up the door to, oh, you're a gymnast. Are you going to the Olympics? You know what I'm saying? That's just the
That's the
general
path that people think. Yeah.
we get, and
Hmm.
it's like, no, we have other avenues. No, we don't have
Oh,
a pro career after, but
right.
um,
Right.
it
But
can
just having that option. Yeah.
having the option of going to college, and I think just opening that window for HBCUs, because I can imagine that, a lot of I mean, if they've never had a gymnastics program, how I'm sure a lot
Yeah.
of them have never been to a gymnastics meet either. So thinking about
Yeah.
having the first gymnastics meet at an HBCU and just thinking about the energy and I always think of Lamencia Hall's floor routines,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, and just
Yeah.
how remember just like whether
Oh
it
my
was
God.
like gospel music,
Yes.
just a
It was
whole
just,
different vibe, and
yeah.
we're getting more of that now with like Shay Campbell,
Hmm.
and it's just like we're not seeing the traditional, floor routines. A lot
Yeah.
of girls are, adding their own flavor to it, and bringing in these musical artists that may have inspired them in any way,
Hmm.
shape, or form. But just imagining it being just in an
It's going to be
HBCU,
powerful.
it's going to be so very powerful. And again, I think it's important to open up more opportunities, because even in the men's gymnastics world, there are
Hmm.
so very little college programs that even have
I'm
um,
in gymnastics
a
team.
men's gymnastics team, and
Hmm.
their opportunities are even slimmer than women.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just again opening the door and just providing more opportunities for um,
Hmm.
athletes to continue a route that they want to go. That's not the Olympics, that's not elite
Right.
gymnastics. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
I'm so very excited. And yeah,
Oh my
when
gosh.
Darren texted me, she's like, "You have to keep this on the DL." And I was like, "What is going on? Tell me more." Do let me know
Yeah.
what this news is. And
Yes.
she was trying to pick my brain on how to, like say. And I was like, I think do it like a slideshow, just like so people know what Fisk University is, like who maybe
Mhm.
went there, and just, again,
Yeah.
just kind of letting people know like this is a big deal, and again it's a
It's
step in the
huge.
right direction. And I didn't even know, like,
Mhm.
2022, I have good feelings. It's
Ooh,
just
it's a little
some
bit of everything.
storm is brewing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a catalyst for an amazing few years. And I say this to like literally everyone: the first HBCU gymnastics meet, I will be
Oh,
there. I don't care what school, I don't care if I'm not an alumni,
for
I will
sure.
be there front row, just
Mhm.
to experience it, because it's so very cool. And also I want to go to homecoming. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
none of my family members went to an HBCU.
Janae.
It's not because
Yeah.
we on the west, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, you're on the West Coast.
we
Not the best coast,
the
but the
furthest,
West
yeah,
Coast.
the furthest we went is like Nebraska and Texas. So like, um
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay. Yeah.
I want to be able to experience that, because even
Yeah.
just the documentaries that I've watched, or
Hmm.
even Beyonce's homecoming show, you know what I'm saying, and just like
Yeah.
what she pulled from that, it's just
Hmm.
we're
Hmm.
we're, we're incredible. I love us.
Oh,
I just
we are. We
so much.
truly, truly are. Like, we have so much depth to us, and the culture is just, it took me a while to appreciate my culture.
Mhm.
Just especially being in the sport where you don't see a lot of us there.
Yeah.
But knowing who I am now, I'm unapologetically black. Like, that's me. I'm unapologetically brown. Like, that's me. So, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, what I want to see happen for our girls. And I'm excited for what the future holds. Like, you have to go to a homecoming. Like, you need to,
Honestly,
I'll buy a plane ticket
let's
for you
connect.
so
Let's
you
connect.
can like experience this next year. You tell me which school, we'll go there.
Great. No, we'll connect, because I really want it to happen, because I want to
Yeah.
experience it live. You know what I'm saying? And I just
There's
want.
nothing there's nothing better than it. It's great. It's great.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah.
excited. No, and this isn't just a, oh no, let's plan for it and it never
Yeah.
happens. Like, we're
Um
actually gonna.
Okay. Well, let me know. I got the hookup got my hands in different pots. So
Yeah, because you
wherever
you
you
said
want to
you
go.
had family members that went and, like,
Yep.
direct family members, which is so
Hmm.
very cool. Yeah, I ain't
Yeah.
got that.
So
We just out
it's
here.
all right. We'll have different journeys from,
Yeah.
for our lives. So, it's all right.
Oh my goodness. This was amazing. I
So
love
much.
just it was such a seamless conversation. Your energy is incredible. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much
you.
for taking this time, and we definitely must have you
Of
back,
course.
for
Oh,
sure, because I think,
please.
it's important to, because I feel like we could talk for a whole hour, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? There's so
sure.
many, topics we can cover,
Hmm.
I think this is a start to a beautiful relationship, I'll
It's
say.
very nice. It's very nice. I just have to say this on the recorded video because I told this to her before, but speaking to JaNay right now and watching her, because it's so funny because I'm 30 and so you are 26.
26. Mhm.
So like watching her while she was competing at her prime at UCLA, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And then having the opportunity to just sit down and talk and just having it be natural is so powerful. And it's almost like meeting my idol,
Oh my gosh.
but it's very like, oh my goodness. So I am so honored and so grateful and just thank you for taking your time. I mean, the time difference is crazy because it's still the morning in California. So I appreciate you rolling out
Hey,
of bed and talking with
I was able to
me.
sleep in. I was like, because
Nice.
when your internal alarm clock just gets you up. I've been getting up
Mhm.
consistently at 6:30. Why?
Yeah.
And I was
No.
like, that cannot happen this Saturday. Please just let me
Mm-mm.
sleep. And I got up at like 8. And I was like, this is cute. I love this.
They,
I
I
was
think
like,
you can do
I
8 more
appreciate
often.
this.
So great.
Oh my
Love
goodness.
it. Love
Yes.
it.
But no, oh my goodness, thank you. I think this is just really important to have these conversations, and
Mhm.
as if we are, influencing even just one person's life in a positive, way, that's all I ask for, and I'm happy
Yeah.
to, have this platform and just to be able to work with brown girls do gymnastics, and with this
Hmm.
campaign is really important to me. And no, hopefully I'll see you at because I know that there's events coming up later, so hopefully
Yeah.
I'll see
Yeah.
you because they're over in that vicinity of the like,
Yes.
so,
Yes.
it's
So
bound
you're
to
gonna have to
happen.
come on over. Come
Yeah,
on
'cause
over.
I went to Richmond, this was a long time ago, I think I was
Yeah.
maybe 12.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you were really close to DC, like, it's
Oh,
that
well,
area.
I'm originally from like like Maryland, DC, Virginia. So that's where
Okay, yeah,
my family is. And so
yeah.
it's like an hour and a half away. It's not far.
Oh, amazing, yeah, and
Yeah.
so I went there when I went to go visit DC, it was this, school trip, and so
Did
we
you go to the Smithsonian and the like on the mall and.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So our first um destination was Richmond, Virginia, and it was just
Oh, okay.
really cool. And I want to experience it as an adult. I want to travel back to these places as an adult because it's different when you're just on a school trip
Yeah.
when you're 12. So
Yeah. You
so
don't get to experience all the cool stuff. But
yeah,
let me learn more about Richmond and then I'll have you come down
right?
or come over so I can show you the places to go.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Can't wait.
I'm not learning it with you.
Amazing. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Morgan. Um, We have to talk soon. Absolutely. We're gonna have
Absolutely.
you back. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day. Everyone have a great weekend great day, great weekend whenever you're watching this. And we will be back soon.
Yes.
Bye.